Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video is a collaboration with Lomography and their campaign Future for 120 film. Recently, Lomography made a few significant price reductions for some of their 120 film stocks, and I definitely used that opportunity to pick up quite a few packs of my favorite Lomo 800. In today's video, I'm gonna look at 4 experimental film stocks from Lomography. Now, when it comes to experimental film stocks, this is something I don't shoot very often, but I'm always up for a challenge, so let's see what I can get with this. After shooting these 4 rolls, one film in particular unexpectedly surprised me, and you totally gotta watch a whole video to know which film stock it is. All of these films were developed and scanned at home. For my scanning solution, I use mirrorless camera, and in this particular case, I had to use a Lomo Digitalizer Plus kit. This is not my favorite for scanning 120 film, but some films were extremely curvy and it was the only solution to keep the negative flat when digitizing. This is how this 120 film holder looks. It's a little bit funky to use. It's really hard to open up, but at the same time, the magnets here are pretty strong and they keep negatives flat. But I do like the 35mm film carrier that comes with this kit, and I use it all the time. Another thing that I have noticed about lomography films, medium format films in general, that the beginning of the paper is shorter than most of other film brands. This is just a little detail that worth keeping attention to when loading film into the film bags. My first roll was a LomoChrome Purple. This is a variable ISO film stock. You can meter it anywhere between ISO 100 to 400. So for this shoot with Jade, we decided to go out and shoot in the park. It was pretty bright and sunny. I've metered this film at ISO 200, and for the camera I've used Hasselblad 500cm. So my approach for this shoot was pretty simple. I knew that greens will become purple on my shots and red will stay red, so we just used this red code to have at least different color in the scene. Overall, I am very pleased with the results. I think they look so much better than my first experience using LomoChrome Purple, and I think the trick is to give this film a little bit more light. First time I shot LomoChrome Purple, I have metered it at ISO 400. The colors were a little bit more vibrant than in this case. Next up, we got Lomo Metropolis. I've used this film quite a few times, and every time my results are so different. I am definitely into this grungy, muted tones, grainy aesthetic that this film produces. I think out of all of these experimental films, this one is the most versatile. Lomo Metropolis is also a variable ISO film. It can be rated anywhere between ISO 100 to 400. For this shoot, I have rated it at ISO 200. For the camera, I've used my Pentax 645 with 75mm lens. This is my friend Lynn. They're super awesome, and every time we shoot, we have so much fun. The light setup was ridiculously simple. It was just a big softbox umbrella. As far as results from this roll, I think this was my best roll of Lomo Metropolis I've ever shot. I do like these muted tones. I think they do fit the interior, my model, and the whole vibe is just there. So I think this film was very good fit for this concept, even though it was pretty simple. So the next roll of film we also shot with Lynn, the Lomo Turquoise. This film is very interesting. It transforms blue into orange, and orange tones become the shades of turquoise or sometimes blue. It depends on the exposure. This is also a variable ISO film, and it can be mirrored anywhere between ISO 100 and 400. This roll I have mirrored at ISO 200. For the camera, I've used a Pentax 645 with 120mm macro lens that helped me to crop closer and get more closer shots of Lynn's face. For this particular role, I had quite a few light setups. I don't have behind the scenes footage for this particular shot. I just placed this big softbox umbrella right behind Lynn. So in this light scenario, Lynn's face was underexposed a little bit. This photo was heavily backlit. Thus, the background appears white, but I also placed a V-flat right near Lynn's face to bounce a little bit of that light that comes from a softbox back to their face. I do like this photo. I think it's pretty cool. For the next light setup, here I've used this blue kids lamp, knowing that Lomo Turquoise film would transform orange tones into blues and blue tones into orange tones. I decided to play with this light, so I used it as a background light, and the key light that was on Lynn's face, it was just daylight balanced flash in a beauty dish with a grid. I used the grid so the light fall off would be shorter, and that way it will not spill onto the background. That's pretty much how I got this good separation. For these shots, I've used flash with continuous light. I tried longer exposures, I tried shutter drag technique, and so on and so forth. For my final light setup, this blue light was used as a backlight. Still had beauty dish on Lynn's face, and I placed a piece of plexiglass right in front of my subject. This one is actually double exposure. For the first exposure, I made my subject completely out of focus and made a closer shot. And for my second exposure, the subject was in focus and further away. I love the photos that I got with this film. I think they're great, super colorful and contrasty. And last but not least is the newest addition to LomoChrome film family, is LomoChrome Color 92. This is ISO 400 film. It features cooler tones and lots of grain. This was my first time shooting Lomo 92 in 120 format. I do have a video about this film in 35mm format where I actually make a print, so feel free to check that one out as well. So I've mirrored this film at ISO 200, and for the camera I've used Hasselblad 500cm. Big thanks to my model Lisa for this shoot. It was a very nice sunny day and this shoot was very fun. So by looking at the results from this film, I definitely see cooler tones and lots of grain, yet 35mm version of this film is definitely way grainier than medium format film. This was my second roll of Lomo 92 in general, and I still don't know how I feel about this film. Maybe I'm just not too much into cooler tones in general on my photos. Another thing that I have noticed about this Lomo 92, this film was extremely curvy, and seriously I have no idea how I would scan this film if I'd still use a flatbed scanner. Maybe this was a development error, or maybe the environment the film was drying in was too hot or too humid or too dry, I don't know. Or maybe it's just this film. Let me know in the comments if you have shot Lomo 92 in 120 format and you got the same curviness as I did. Maybe it's just a user error. So out of these 4 rolls of film that I've just shot, I was the most surprised by Lomo Turquoise. I dig those pictures. They are my favorite so far. And this was my second time shooting Lomo Turquoise. By the way, there is another video about this film. Let me know in the comments which roll was your favorite, and do you shoot these experimental films? I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but sometimes, once in a while, it's kind of fun to switch things up and shoot something unusual. Thanks for watching this video and see you in another one.